Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Roman checking in. So the main reason, I'll try to keep it, quick and short, but the main reason why I'm making this video is, essentially because I had a long conversation with Moises, about like 20 minutes, about how you guys are trying to rush the fucking process when it comes to trading. And now, actually, I've heard, the conversations, and I've read the conversations where you guys like want to quit your jobs ASAP. I'm gonna take Jansen as an example here for this particular audio because I think he's a great example. And Jansen, this is nothing against you, okay? Just trying to make the example out of you. But you guys are trying to rush the fucking process. You are building bad habits right away. What are the bad habits? Slapping 50 lots on trades. You don't need to risk a lot of money to make a lot of money in this game. And as I mentioned to you guys before, like, we are day traders, but at the end of the day, we are really money managers. Because in order for us to stay in this game, we have to be able to manage our capital. And that is something that you have to keep in mind. Trading personal funds, trading prop firms, and trading demo are all fucking different. Let me give you an example. If you blow, let's say you have your personal account, and you blow like, your balance is $80,000, you blow $60,000, that's gonna hit you a lot different than blowing a prop firm account, because $60,000 is a big fucking amount of money. And that could essentially lead you to over trading. It could put you in a bad mental state. And when you are a trader, you always want to make sure that you are in the best mental shape that you can possibly be, so that you can make the most logical decisions day in and day out when you trade. That's number one. Number two, you guys have been trading during low probability positions. And let me tell you right now that anyone who's been in this game for a long time knows that if there are low probable positions, you're not gonna put on your full risk. You can still execute trades. That is not a problem. But you wanna be conservative. Because again, holidays are low probable conditions. All the people that move the fucking markets, banks, hedge funds, so on and so forth, are on holidays. During low probability conditions, low volume conditions, you can expect manipulation to happen within the markets. And if your stop loss is, let's say, 5-10 pips, there is quite a high chance you're gonna get wicked out. And if you have 50 lots, on that particular position, and let's say you're risking like $4,000 to $5,000, how is that logical? Well, it's fucking not. And so you guys are trying to rush the fucking process, and it's pissing me off. And you have to view trading as a long-term game. You guys barely have any skin in the game. You've been maybe learning about trading, for like a couple months, maybe a year at the tops. But you're skipping steps. For example, I took a trade on Friday on gold. I had a pretty decent entry and I had a fucking on-point exit. But I'm able to kind of predict, what is the market gonna do and when is the market gonna turn around. I risked, $1,500, or sorry, $1,500, on that particular trade, and I was able to close it out for $10,000. You don't have to go out and risk, $5,000 on a trade to make $5,000. You want to be fucking conservative, and that goes to the point that I initially made, which is be conservative. You don't have to go out and risk, insane amount of money to make money. That's not how this fucking game works. It comes down to risk management, and it comes down to risk to reward. Let me give you an example, which is a great example that applies in trading as well. So you have guys, who maybe just started to work out, they are 16, 17, 18. They don't know fucking jack shit about exercises, about good form, about muscle-mind connection. They don't know how their body responds to different foods. They don't know jack shit about nutrition. Maybe they've never even tracked, their nutrition for a longer period of time. But guess what? They want to get jacked quick. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna look at the big guys, and they'll go and look for steroids, right? Testosterone, D-ball, trend, whatever, you name it. And they have zero fucking knowledge on how to use steroids. They'll get on them, at a young age, when they still didn't finish growing up, developing, whether that's the physical aspect or the mental aspect, and they do these steroids, which have the potential to alter your psychology. Steroids have the potential to stop your growth, your natural growth. So the point is that, they'll fuck themselves up, or let me correct myself. They'll feel great, for a while, but then over time, because they have no knowledge, they'll start to feel like shit. And then as they get into their 30s, they'll essentially be at point zero. They'll be stuck, with TRT doses for the rest of their life because they fucked up their natural production of testosterone. And that is something that we need as men. Okay. So the point is that you want to view trading as a long-term game, and you don't want to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. Now that brings me to Jensen. So I had a call with Jensen last week for about 4 hours, and we have essentially discussed, his situation, and how he should approach the markets, given his situation. Now this is a personal information, so I'm not gonna go here and share that all, but long story short, he quit his job and now he wants to really make it with trading. And this morning, just before my gym session and before the call I had with Moises, he says like, hey, I blew through $10,000. After everything I've explained to him, how he needs to be careful, how he needs to take his time, how he needs to, take it step by fucking step instead of trying to rush it and make money right away. Why am I saying that? Most of you guys, if not all, have attachment to money. We all do. But as traders, we have to be okay with losing money or winning money. Majority of the population that is alive, if they lose money, they get depressed. They don't know what to do. They start to question themselves. They think everything is a scam. And then, if they make a lot of money, they'll be excited, they will be happy. They'll be like, oh shit, I made it, I'm on top of the world. And so they'll go out and spend that money, and let's say they don't make it the next month again. That again has a negative effect on their psychology. So if you're smart, I think you can pretty much connect the dots here and know where I'm going with this. Imagine yourself where you want to be 5 years from now. Trading is a career. It's something that you have to live and breathe, especially when the market is open. It's not like, you can get on the charts, do your analysis for like 5 minutes and be like, oh shit, I'm good to go. No. There's a lot of fucking components, that go into trading just beyond the technical analysis. But you guys are trying to fucking rush it, Why are you putting 50 lots on, on trades? If you have lower leverage with your broker and you have 50 lots, you're gonna get margin called. That's gonna fuck you up. With 50 lots, I can only imagine you're gonna also lose a lot of money if you take the L, right? So like, don't chase money, chase progress, chase excellence. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. The money is just a byproduct of your efforts, of your understanding of the charts, of the markets. Why do you think people are billionaires? It's not because they chase money, it's because they chase excellence. They focus on the craft at hand, and the byproduct of all their efforts is the financial gain. So be fucking realistic and stop trying to make money in a short amount of time, because it's gonna bite you in the ass. You cannot come here and tell me that it's sustainable for you to... It's not sustainable, man. Like, you cannot go and put 50 lots on every single trade that you take, because not every single trade is made equal. And especially, you guys have been trading through low probability conditions over the holidays. Perhaps, the setup was there, but you are not gonna go out and risk, I don't know, like 3% of your account. It's gonna fuck you up in the long term. And then imagine you get yourself into drawdown. And how are you gonna handle that? So for example, Jensen is now in drawdown. I would like to make the assumption 5% on a challenge. It's gonna fuck with him mentally. I know, because I've been there. And I've also very clearly told him to take it easy and give yourself a little buffer. So what I mean by that is, if you start a fresh challenge account, you essentially want to put yourself into profit. Whether that is like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, but put yourself into fucking profit for the sake of your mental health. Because if you, purchase a challenge and right away you get yourself into a drawdown, that's not gonna be very smart. You're not gonna feel good about yourself. And I think that's kind of the whole point of this video. You guys are just trying to rush things, and it's not beneficial for you. It's not beneficial for the longevity of your career. And it's a bad habit to have. Because as I mentioned, you don't have to go out and risk a lot of money to make money. And while we are day traders, we are financial managers. The most important part is preserving your capital so that you can remain in the game for as long as possible. If you blow your money, if you blow the accounts, how can you continue to trade? You can't. And so the key is to preserve your capital and allocate it only into high probability setups during high probability conditions. So take a step back, stop being so overconfident, stop thinking you're the shit, stop thinking you made it. Reevaluate your situation and be fucking logical. Because I've seen a lot of people that were saying some of the things that, Eric says, Hugo says, and again, nothing personal. But they didn't last very long in this game. They essentially went back to their 9 to 5 because they lost all their money. They spent all this time, trying to learn the skill, but at the end of the day, they couldn't handle it mentally because they were not being rational. Unless you have like $100,000 liquid in your bank account, you really shouldn't even think about splurging on materialistic things. I'm not saying you can't do it, but you probably don't want to go out and spend, $5,000 on a fucking purse for your girl. You want to wait a little bit, be patient. You treat yourself, but you don't want to overdo it, essentially. Because most of you have the attachment to money, and you get excited when you make money. You get sad and depressed when you lose money. That is not the way to approach things, and that is not the way to live. And trading is predominantly a psychology game. The technicals, are fairly easy to learn, but can you really master yourself in the process? That's another question. Can you be disciplined enough to stop trading if the conditions are not there? Are you disciplined enough to keep consistent risk management? That's what it comes down to, yeah? Longer message, but I think it's very important you guys fucking understand it. I've been in this game for 5 years at this point, profitable for the last 3 years, and I've done very well for myself, but I understand the psychology that you need to have to really make this shit work. And you cannot be like all these other guys, who make, a certain amount of money and they go out and spend it. What are you gonna do if you don't make the money next month and the month after that? Just common sense. There's nothing much to it, right? So don't think you're the shit because you barely have any skin in the game. If there are holidays, you can still look at the charts. Potentially you can still execute on certain trades, but lower your risk. Stop thinking you've made it because you did not. You don't have the experience. You don't have the hours on the charts, unless you spend like 13 hours on the charts, just studying price action. And until you have a certain amount of money in your bank account, or until you make at least 3 times the income you would in your day job, you cannot quit. You guys want to quit your jobs right away for fucking what? There are months in trading where you'll make money, and then there are months where you're not gonna make a single fucking dollar, or you're gonna make, less than what you're used to. Now the question is, are you able to survive if you're not making money on certain months? Are you able to pay your rent, your bills? Some of you guys still live with your parents. You have nothing to worry about. But what if you live on your own? You have your own shit to do, your own bills. Do you have enough cash flow to cover yourself during the periods where you're not making any money? Ask yourself these questions. And I'll leave it at that. Honestly, the audio I made with Moses was fucking phenomenal. I'm really sad it didn't get recorded. So this is just me kind of revisiting some of my thoughts that I initially had. But you guys really have to fucking take a step back. Look at it from the long-term perspective. Envision yourself where you want to be and work towards it. But you gotta have that delayed self-gratification. It's like in the gym. You're not gonna gain, 10 pounds or 10 kilos of muscle in a month. It's fucking impossible. Can you gain 10 kilos in a month? Sure, but is it gonna be muscle? No. It's gonna be a mix of fat and muscle, but probably predominantly fat, because it takes a lot of time to build fucking muscle and strength. So stop looking at the results, stop looking at the dollar amount, and make sure you can execute trades properly, that you understand what you're looking at in the charts. Make sure you also understand the fundamentals, because at the end of the day, fundamentals is what moves the fucking markets. What is going on in different economies, in different countries. And then you can think, okay, well, I want to scale up. What am I going to do? What are my next steps? But until then, you got to take a fucking chill pill. Stop chasing quick returns because they are not sustainable. That's it. Much love and respect to all of you. Stay grinding. And that's all.